let's go ahead and get rolling on this. So today's interesting. This is unusual for us because this is basically going to be an EXP call. So there might be people that come on here that are not EXP, and you're going to learn about one of the things that we just rolled out, which is pretty awesome, which is co-sponsoring. I've already done it 3 times, and I'm going to explain how I'm using it. And we're going to play a video first. Russ Lagan does probably the best interview. I'm hoping that my audio works when you do this. So if it's not working, let me know right away. I'm going to share my screen and bring this up. Way to go! There it is. Hey, you guys all see that? And let me know if the sound's not working. Okay.
Mitch, it's muffled.
It's super muffled, Mitchy.
Let me see if I can figure that out. Hold on a second. This is not my forte. I am not a sound engineer. Let me see if I do this. All right, let me try that. Let me go back. Hold on a second. Sure. Where'd it go? Where'd you go? I gotta stop the share real quick. I gotta stop and then start it over again. There's Bobby in the house. All right, tell me how this is. If it's any better. Is it any better?
No, Mitch.
All right, we're not going to see Russ's video. Then we're just going to talk about it. I'm gonna go over co-sponsor then, which is fine because I get it. I understand it pretty well. All right.
Why don't you put the link though in the chat? Put the link in the chat for everybody. You can watch it later.
That's a great idea. So you're
Some
smart,
days
right?
I get them, not often.
I used to be smart a long time ago, but I gave it up. Okay.
Mitch, did you have your
overrated.
volume turned all the way up?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. There's a way to do it. I'm just not sure how to work it. All right. So I'm putting in the chat right now Russ's video on it, which I'll encourage all of you to read. So the goal this morning, I'm going to go over briefly what co-sponsor is, why it's here, and then I'll let you guys all go through if you're using it already. I'm using it almost daily right now. And what your thoughts on, or even questions that you have about it that I can answer, because I think I can answer every question now. I've gone through most of the questions. So what is co-sponsor? So co-sponsor is the ability for a new agent coming on, can now pick not just you as a sponsor, but they can also pick another person as a co-sponsor. And but there's a limitation on time in that, where it has to be done within 5 days. Now, this is a work in progress, so there might be some changes to it the way we're going right now, because I'm hearing lots of different rumblings in my leadership group. But that's the way it's set up right now. So someone wants to join with me, but they know somebody not in my direct 7 levels that also wants to be a sponsor. They also know they can now name both of us as a sponsor. One is a sponsor, one is a co-sponsor. And stop me if I'm getting confusing, guys, because it's a little confusing stuff, right? And I'll dig deeper. So the co-sponsor, the sponsor gets the qualifying agent. Okay, so in my case, I want more qualifying agents than I need to be a co-sponsor. So in that case, so we'll say Kim's not in my group. Just use Kim as an example, and they sign up me as the sponsor because I get the qualifying. But Kim would get the first level income. Okay, so as the co-sponsor. So what does that mean? So that means I'm going to get the qualifying, the FLQA, the qualifying agent, which when you're a tractor like I am and like some of us here are, you get the qualifying agent, which is important when you're building out a large revenue share group. Not a big deal if you are only bringing on one person. Right? Now the co-sponsor, in this case Cam is the co-sponsor, he's going to get to the stock, and he's going to get the up to $4,000 bonus. Because as you know, in the revenue share model, you get on the first year that people are with you can get up to $4,000 instead of up to $1,400. The second year will go to $1,400 like normal, but Cam would get that as a co-sponsor. So the sponsor gets the FLQA, the qualifying agent. The co-sponsor gets the the stock and the $4,000 bonus. So essentially, so if I'm the sponsor and Karina's the sponsee, I think that's the right word, then she would be on my second level, and she'd be on the co-sponsor's first level, the way it would look in the organization. My first level would be my co-sponsor. So if Cam's my co-sponsor, he'd be my first level, and and she would be on his first level. Does that make sense? It's a little confusing, but that's how it works. Does that make sense?
Mitch, I would just add, but you would not make any of the revenue share on Cam's closings. You're kind of like a ghost spot that doesn't generate revenue share for Mitch, but it takes up the spot.
No, you do. You get level 2 money.
You get level 2 money.
No. I'm talking about.
Yeah, I will make it. Yes, I'm sorry. So Cam is the co-sponsor. Remember, he's in another. Yes, I'll reiterate that. He's in another organization. He's on my first level for the way this looks, but there's no revenue coming in from Cam. That's what you're talking
right.
about.
Yeah.
So, but I'm still generating revenue from Karina on my second level. That's the way this would work.
That's right.
Now, so why would you co-sponsor? There's a lot of reasons. I'm going to give you a couple of examples. One is, and this is a real life example. I have a friend of mine that joined in North Carolina a year ago. She did not want to join with who she joined with because she's my good friend. But she said, I want to work with you, Mitch. But I'm still working with her because that's who I am. But these guys have an office, these guys have a team, and I really want to be on a team. So she joined with them. So I got nothing. Now, in this case, she could have been my person still, my qualifier, and then name them as a co-sponsor. So that's how it works a lot of times. But there's also a lot of times that, I've been talking to Cam and I've been talking to Karina, and I like both of them, and I don't know who to pick. Now you can actually pick two. The benefit to you as an agent coming in is now you have more people. Right? You have more people wanting to make you successful. The other thing that's really important to understand is if you are the co-sponsor, so in this case, Cam was the co-sponsor, now I'm the sponsor. As the sponsor, my upline organization still gets paid normal revenue share. The co-sponsor, in this case Cam, does not get any revenue share. Their upline. That's how they pay for this. So our biggest competitor out there with regards to this is doing co-sponsor. The way they do it is the corporation takes 10%, and then it's split 45-45 to the agents. When I talked to Glenn about this, and I had a long half-hour meeting with Glenn about this when he was launching this because I was all confused about it. And he was great. He reached out to me and said, Mitch, let's go hop on a call, and we did. And the only way to pay for this was to make sure the other upline does not get paid. All right. So that's co-sponsor. That's how it works. Am I forgetting anything there, Randy, or anybody else? I think I got most of it there. And what I want to do is kind of go around the room and just, are you using it? And one of two things. Do you have a question about it? Or do you have anything you can add that I'm missing or how you're using it? We'll just start with Karina, since she's in my left-hand corner.
Oh, great. So I have not used it yet. I don't know that I even have questions. I think it was just, I guess when I first watched it, it just wasn't something that looked ideal to me. But now hearing you talk about it, I think you made it so blonde worthy that it made complete sense. And so now I have a different opinion already of it, but I have not put it together. But I could see if I had someone out in Utah and I wanted to send them to, I wanted them to be able to have the education and the training from a David Lawson awesome team, but I wanted to keep my relationship, like you're talking about the one in, North Carolina or South Carolina, wherever she was. And I could see why that would be beneficial. And initially my gut feeling was, why would I give away my people? Do you know what I mean? Like that was my Jersey girl coming out. Yeah.
And keep in mind, you're not giving anybody away. You're still getting, especially if you are the sponsor. You both, and here's the other part that I didn't mention on this way, is in my case, I'm the sponsor of you, Karina, and Cam's the co-sponsor. If you build 1,000 people, we both benefit from that.
Right.
So of course. So the upline from the co-sponsor doesn't make anything, but the people bringing them, the sponsor and the co-sponsor, each get that people. So if you bring on 1,000 people, Karina, I'm going to add 1,000 people to my group, and Cam's going to add 1,000 people to his group.
Right.
Randy, let's go to Mandy. Go ahead,
Oh, so
Randy.
wait, I have one question on that.
Oh,
I have one
Oh, yeah,
question.
that-
What would be the reason why you would not want to be the first sponsor? Like, would you make a decision on that? Would you change, like, would you flip it for some reason?
Yeah, and I'll give you an example of that. So, because I just did this. So, I had a girl in Orlando reach out to me to co-sponsor a person here in Brevard County, and I said, "Hey, I'll be co-sponsor." And I said, "Let me ask you a question. Are you going to attract agents? Is that part of your business plan?" And she's like, "No." She goes, "This is probably the only person I'll ever bring on." I go, "Then what you really want to do is you really got to have me be the sponsor, and you be the co-sponsor because I'm going to get the $4,000 in the stock, which I don't need. I'd rather see you get the $4,000 in the stock. I need the qualifying agent." So depending on the situation is when I would make that decision on how I would have that conversation with the other sponsor. So to
Right.
me,
Okay.
again, for me, it really depends on them. If they're going to build an organization, they're going to need FLQAs too.
Mhm.
So then they're going to get
Right.
the FLQAs. But if they're not, then in my situation, that scenario, I wanted the qualifying agent more than I want the $4,000 in the stock. And honestly, I'd rather see her, an agent who doesn't bring on anybody, make the $4,000. And this girl's a
Right.
cap and
Cover
go
her
who
MLS
came over.
numbers. Yep.
Yeah, this girl's a cap and go, so she's going to make $4,000. How big is that in her life? It's pretty
Right.
exciting.
Exactly. Yep. Awesome. Thanks.
Uh,
And
Randy,
Mitch,
you're
you
up.
can then in that example, you can tap into your upline, right? That maybe is into attraction where maybe that agent's upline isn't because she's not interested in recruiting, right? So that's another benefit to what Mitch just mentioned by him becoming the main sponsor versus a co, right?
Right. Yeah.
What I want to kind of put a spin on is because I know, obviously we talk a lot about, this is mainly for production. Today is different. And also we do have obviously a lot of EXP agents on here. And I see a bunch that I know personally in my organization. And I love it for you guys that are here listening, that are part of EXP, because, probably one objection you might have in your mind when you're meeting agents, if you're new, in production or just, period to EXP, number one, you might not know enough about EXP, so you lack confidence. Number two, maybe you lack in production if you're new, right? So now that's a double whammy against you that can really eat up your mind and basically, make you not talk to agents about the great company that you are part of, right? And I feel that's what co-sponsoring is really. It's a confidence builder for all of you listening that are with us, new or, new to EXP or new to production, is locally. Think about the agents that you are meeting and talking to, that you can now start conversations with. Now, before I would though, what I would recommend you do is look out in your local area. Who are the big EXP players, right? Reach out to them and get to know them. Who would you want to potentially, like if you were to redo this for yourself, if you were to want to be co-sponsored by somebody locally, who would that be? Reach out to them and say, hey, by the way, I don't know if I'm going to, have this opportunity or not. However, I am an agent and I am going to be talking to agents. And if I have anybody that's interested in joining EXP, I would love to see if I can partner with you in that way as you being a co-sponsor. Are you interested? And I can guarantee you 99% of those team leaders, if it's a team leader or, I'm assuming it's somebody that is a producing agent in your area, that's probably why you've heard of them, right? That team leader is probably going to be like, yes, absolutely. I would love to be a co-sponsor, right? Great. Can I just, do you have anything yet put together? What that would look like? What an agent would get by being connected to you, right? And I'm finding that a lot of team leaders are now creating, what does that look like, right? If you are part, because they already have it, right? Because they already are probably sponsoring agents, but this takes them to a little bit of a different level of thinking. Like, okay, what does a co-sponsoring looks like if I co-sponsor an agent and they're not necessarily just on my team under a team agreement, right? Some team leaders are still creating that. So don't be surprised if they're like, well, I haven't thought about that yet. But what I'm getting at for all of you is really get to know the players in your area, because they are now your partners potentially that you can literally do business with. And think about, this was said early on when they launched it, said, act as if, meaning you are already partners with them, right? And this is what I'm telling you is like you reach out to them and paint the vision like, hey, if I have anybody, I would love to be able to connect them to the right team leader in my local area because I'm new, right? And then you just have a little document, Google Doc of who you spoke to, what they offer, what would that look like if you partner with them. So like, for example, I'm going to give you an example personally. In San Diego County, right, I know who they are. I know who is the team, different teams I like in North County. I know who's my coastal. I know who's in East County. I know who's in South County, like who's in kind of the middle. Like I already know who those people are at EXP. So if I have an agent that I'm bringing on and I don't believe I can offer them everything they need, an example would be, I don't offer leads to my team. That's just not the model I built, right? However, there is many teams out there that are part of Zillow Flex accounts, Realtor.com accounts, and they literally build their whole business around leads. And they need agents that can take those leads, right, and convert them to clients. That's not my model, right? So if I'm talking to a new agent and they're like, oh man, I really would love to get leads. I need more accountability. I need a little bit more hand-holding. That's not me. Now, that doesn't mean that I can't bring them on anymore. I could, and I will absolutely have a co-sponsor involved, right? Because I already know who I'm going to go to because I've done my research beforehand, right? So that's what I would recommend to, everyone that's here that's new to EXP or new to production is don't discount this co-sponsoring like, oh, it's not for me. Like I'm never going to, take advantage of it. You will. And I'm telling you, it could be, your friends, your college buddies, your aunts, uncles asking you about getting your license. And that's an opportunity where you can step in with confidence. Like, great, let's talk about it, right? We can partner with whoever we want. Where do you live again? Bam, right? I don't know if that, that's one thing I wanted to just bring up because I think this can go over a lot of people's heads, co-sponsoring, because we talk about production a lot here, but I believe we can tie this together where if you do this correctly and just assume, let's pretend you actually referred an agent to be a co-sponsor to a team leader. Now maybe you refer two. That team leader is now seeing you as a business partner because you are now co-sponsoring people in the local market. There is a high probability that you might build a better relationship with that team leader. And maybe there could be some mutual business you can now do together as well. And that's the whole the verbiage that they want us to use. Act as if you already are business partners because you are and you can.
Okay.
I got a question.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have a lot
Good.
of questions. Obviously, this is super interesting to me. First off, are we in agreement that team leads that only provide leads is a good system? Because I know a lot of us have Navy SEAL type teams, real small. Like that's profitable for us in our own businesses. So are we as a group or as our group, are we encouraging people to give our biggest competitor, which is Zillow, more money so they can continue building what they're building out and removing us? Is that kind of the idea? Because I get you, I hear this, and the leads are a huge part, right? Everyone's fighting for leads, but in my business, I purposely didn't recruit locally, right? Because I wanted to go teach the people how to fish. And the people I've taught how to fish have become the #1 people in the entire state, as well as multiple icons. So it seems like if the only premise is trying to give agents leads,
No.
how does that actually benefit me
Let me
spending
clarify.
30,
So
40,
that's,
50
I
grand
think
a
it's a
year
different
to
topic.
find these agents?
Yeah, Cam, can I clarify? Because I hit on that a lot. That was just one specific example. And that's one specific agent when I'm asking them about their goals, how do they see themselves? And let's be honest, and I'm sorry to some of you that are listening to this because this is a statistic. Most of you won't make it, like, period. Like it is, the odds are against you when you're joining as a realtor, any brokerage. I don't care if it's EXP or anybody. 90% of agents don't make it, right? Because they're not wired as an entrepreneur. right? And you are Cam, right? And you maybe you can teach a lot of them, the people you're recruiting how to fish. That's an entrepreneur mindset. But a lot of agents could become really good agents if they are put almost into a position, almost like an employee. I explain it in that model. I explain where they get leads from the team leader, but that doesn't work for everybody I talk to, right? So it really depends. That's a very different conversation. So we I don't want to get off topic, but it's really
No, absolutely. You're
Well,
right. And
specific.
there's other huge parts of that, right? Like accountability, mentorship. But that's
Yeah.
that's what we're supposed to do. That's the point of the sponsor. Like what is it that Randy, what is it that you feel like you are providing someone that you are in terms handing off to a team lead that's going to provide them leads? What is it that the person, like, for example, let's say me recruiting, right? That I spent the money to recruit. I do the live events. I spend 60% of my time now agent attracting. We know that only like 10 to 12% of EXP agents have anybody in their downline. So the idea is that we're not going to get the tier one income because that goes to the sponsor who's providing leads. Like, shoot, they're spending all of their money, right, to get the leads so that the agent can be that employee. That's just the way that the lead companies have set it up. And they continually scale to make it more expensive and more expensive and more expensive. But what is it for the agents that are spending the majority of their time attracting? If they're not going to get the tier one income and majority of agents don't recruit at all, what is the incentive to go out and do it if you're going to give that person away to someone that's just going to provide leads?
Let me respond to that, then I'll go to you, Derek. So, first of all, co-sponsor is not meant to do co-sponsor every single person you recruit.
Right.
So for me, when I look at it, I look at it, and I'll get a little more deeper, but I want to answer your specific question. Is I would say, like, I just brought on somebody today. I'm not doing a co-sponsor with that person. They don't need it. Right? I would venture to say that probably 25% of the people that I'm going to sponsor, that I would be follow co-sponsor. So what I could do is say I work, and I can't do this with Randy, but because Randy's in my group, but Randy is an investment guru, right? I am not, right? And I can sit there and say, I'm thinking about joining with you, but I really want to have a guy that knows more about investing than you do. Great. I have a really good business partner named Randy. He's a phenomenal investment guy. Let's co-sponsor with him. It helps. So it's really there to me to help solidify a deal you may not have got, or you may have lost to somebody. I may have lost that to Randy because he is that guy. I'm not that guy. So it's not to be used on every single person you do. It's not what it's for. It's for when you need a little extra push. Like, for instance, I'm talking to a brokerage right now for somebody. And that's where I'm kind of concentrating on for me. And we got off the phone. She called me back. She goes, he loves you. I go, good. Make me the co-sponsor. And if that helps you solidify it, make me the co-sponsor. Not because I really care that much about the money, because I really don't, but I do, because I'm still a business guy. But the reality is, if he makes me a co-sponsor, we both benefit. So it's not to give up what you're doing, Kim. It's to use it as a tool if you're struggling getting somebody because they don't fit into your little avatar, who you are.
Yeah,
That makes sense?
Cam, can I speak to this quickly? I'm
Yeah,
a lone
absolutely.
agent, right? There are many people that want to work with me that need a team structure, but I don't want someone who needs leads. I can attract other people that are lone wolves like me. They don't want to be told what to do. They might like the collaboration. They like to lead, but they've got their book of business. They're just going. I'm going, and I want to work with people that are just going. I don't need babysitters. But so now with the co-sponsorship, I literally, I have somebody who needs leads, and I'm working with a team because they offer structure. A lot of people need structure. They need, the office hours. They need leads. They need that structure. So now I can attract someone and co-sponsor, and with someone where I can say, because I don't even want to attract someone who is newer. I don't have the business model for it. I don't have the time. So I literally go, no way, because I don't have that team structure. And I don't want to. I'm not built for a team, right? So, but an individual team, like a self-directed team, great. Like, that's how a lot of people do it. It's a self-directed team, right? But anyway, so for me, it's been already revelationary. I have a group of people I'm working on, and I'm co-sponsoring because they want to be there, but they do need some leads. They do need structure. And now I have partners here in San Diego that I'm plugging them into, and we are actively saying, this is going to work. And I am now more, actively pursuing people because I have a place to plug them into to fit their needs. Because I don't ever want to attract somebody and then they're not happy because I'm not giving them what they need as an individual agent. So now, it just depends on the structure. But now I have a team, and Randy, as I'm going through my list, I have these dynamite gal investors, and they love me and they want to learn commercial, but their business model is flippers. And I immediately said, I need to call Randy and I need to co-sponsor, because you're speaking their language. Off the top of your head how much they're going to pay on when they're doing their own deals. So I plan on calling you so that we can attract together. So for me, it's created leverage because I don't have 60% of my time to attract, and I don't feel like I'm the right fit for everybody. But now with this, it's leverage. It's leverage saying, this is, I see plugging you in here, I see plugging you in there, and then they have me. And then they have somebody who, that's their book of business. That's the business model they need, if that makes sense.
No, that totally makes sense. And that's the idea, right? That's like the point. But how do you make any money from that? Because 85% of people don't recruit a tier 2 person, and you lose your tier 1. So you're spending money every day.
No.
At least I'm spending money advertising and recruiting and doing events and all of that. But if you don't have the income, that's what we're recruiting, right? Is to generate a
You
passive
get
income.
level 2 money.
Yeah,
love
Cam,
money.
you actually end up making, technically, in the long run, you make more money because that recruit is on your level 2, Cam.
Right.
Yeah, you don't get
Yeah,
the
but
So
bonus.
level 2 meaning that they are is it the level 2 in the old way where we 1 through 3 are now all level 1, or is it level 2 the new way where you need a certain amount of qualifiers to unlock that level?
That's level 2, just like normal.
Level 2.
Yeah.
Level 2, so
I wanna
the
go to
level
Dave
2
real
is in
quick.
it doesn't have to be unlocked, or the level 2 is in I need 10 FLQAs to
No,
unlock
it's
it?
level 2. It does not need to be unlocked.
Okay,
David, go
so
ahead. I want David to hold it, Kim. Dave had a comment. Go ahead, Dave.
Cam, I love you, right? You have to look at this differently. The first thing I'm going to say is it's not for everyone. I have Brent Gove. I paid Brent Gove to come to my office July 11th, and we're doing an event. And all the people that I get off of that are going to be people in Utah. And you think I'm going to co-sponsor any of those people with you, Cam? Sorry.
exactly. Well, why would you, right? That's
Right.
what, because you're doing the work.
That's not, I know, but you have to listen to me here. So first of all, you have to live based on the abundance mentality versus the scarcity mentality, right? So first of all, think about that, right? Because if you're just thinking about you, you're missing the boat. Okay. I have a saying, it's called doing the right thing is always the right thing to do, right? I mean, that's a biblical concept that I live by every day, right? And so this is what I want you to think about. Stop, and I'm picking on you only because
not picking up.
I can't. I know I can because I just think the world of you. But don't focus on Cam. Focus on what is best for the client. The other motto on our team is if you always do what's right for the client, in the end, you win, right? So, I have so many examples of things that I've done that I like. An investor that they wanted to buy a property, and I said no, and they said I want to buy it. I said I won't represent you because you're going to lose money on it. She finally believed me, and in the next 3 months, she bought 3 other flip properties with me because I told her no on the one that I thought was wrong. Right? That's the right thing to do. So if you don't focus on you and you focus on what's best for the agent that you're trying to recruit, then that's when both people win. So I'm going to give you 4 examples right now, really fast. So I've recruited 2 people in Utah this month. They're under me, and I'm sorry, all of you don't get co-sponsor on them because I don't need you. I'm currently working with two people. One is Brandy, and she's in Oceanside. I'm working with somebody in Del Mar and down that direction, or even La Jolla, named Juan. And I'm looking at co-sponsoring. So, Juan is a great agent. I've been working on him, and I couldn't quite close him because there's no office, there's no local. He wants to be around people and a team. And so I went to Ross. I said, Ross, will you co-sponsor him? And now, Ross, what are you doing? Ross is helping me get Juan to come on, right, Ross? And so that's how it works, right? And Ross is working just as hard as recruiting him as me. And then the other one is Brandy. And she's a Coldwell Banker agent, been there for 15 years. She does 6 or 8 deals, $5 million, $4 million. And I'm working with her. And by the way, Juan wants structure and leads, right? So, Ross, do you have leads? That's a dumb question, right? You have leads and you have structure, and he's got an office that he will probably rarely go to, but if he wants to meet a client in Del Mar, he can, right? Now, Brandy is almost the exact opposite, but the thing is the same. You know what she wants? She wants the structure. She does not want leads. She doesn't need them. She doesn't want to give up Zillow money. But what she wants is local presence, right? So there's 4 examples of people this month that I'm working on, and they're all different. This is not a one-size-fit-all thing. And so if you just look at it and say, oh, I'm trying to recruit somebody. Now, if I'm recruiting somebody in, where Cam is, right? He's the perfect person in Florida for me because he could tie in, right?
Yes, but actually there's someone, Jana, in this call that runs a mega team that has more leads than I do. So technically, if it's based on leads, it would be smarter to give that person to Jana.
No,
Yeah,
it's not based on leads.
But you're just focusing on leads, Cam.
Yeah, it's
The leads are only a small. So out of the 4 people, only one person came to us because of leads. The other 3 people came to us because of something else, right? So yeah, if it's a lead, if all they want is leads, then we're not, you and I aren't going to maybe not work together. But am I going to work with you, or I love Jana, and I love those people, right? They're great. But the people on this group, you guys are my partners, right? I'm not me. I'm in your tribe. You guys have invited me in. I want to try to give as much business to you. But the problem is if Cam, if you have somebody that you want to recruit and they're in, Austin, Texas, and none of us are there, I can tell you that if you do the co-sponsor, the chance of you getting the people, I think this is a way to build our downline so much faster because, and the other thing is, a penny earned is what? I mean, a penny saved is what? A penny earned, right? So if I sponsor somebody in Austin and I don't service them very well, what's very likely going to happen to that agent? They can leave because they don't have the support, right? So I'm thinking about this as a way for me to massively help because I'm really good at this many things and I suck at this many, right? So I'm going to be really good helping the people I sponsor with these, and I'm going to try to find co-sponsors to help me do all that. So think of it like that.
And I think, Dennis, go ahead, man. Sorry. I have a few thoughts.
I think
on that.
Cam, I think you were stuck on the payment, right, Cam? Is that what you were stuck on? If you're the main sponsor and somebody else is a co-sponsor, you don't
I'm
get paid.
stuck on why anyone would co-sponsor with anyone because I don't believe anyone is going to give them better support, better help, better assistance. I mean, I've spent the last 3 years dedicated to building out a system that I can help people become the number one person in their state. So I don't see how, other than leads, because obviously I can't pay for leads for people in other, actually I could, we've actually thought about that. That's something we really are trying to figure out. How can we set up a lead system so agents can come on with their own system and use that as a launch pad, right? Is they're trying to use that as a way to get their failing business to get restarted so they're not running out of money, but also be able to set up their own system so that they are not dependent on a team lead, which after every sale, they have to give their money back to, so that the team lead obviously can go out and spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on Zillow leads, which that's what mega icon teams do. I mean, that's just how you got to do it. You got to spend a ton of money.
Keep in mind, Cam, keep in mind. I don't mean to interrupt, but I want to make sure we keep this moving because we only got 20 minutes left. There's a lot of people have been texting me about talking, mate.
He
here's
just
the beauty.
misunderstands it.
You don't have to do anything, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to do anything. This is another tool in the toolbox to use. And I wouldn't. Again, the stuff that you're doing, do it. There's no issue there.
Flip it, Cam. Your systems are so good, then try to find people in Austin that want to sponsor people that you can be the co-sponsor and help. You can help with the systems. I've got some pretty good systems, right, Ross? I've got some good systems, right? And so turn it around. Instead of the people that you're going to sponsor, you're going to just bring on to you, because especially if they don't need you. But anyway, we got to keep it.
Yeah, we got a lot to go through. Let's go over to Bobby's next one. I got to take control here. That's why I like about 5, 6. We're going to do Bobby, and then we're going to do Ross and Diane together because they're working together on this. And so go ahead, Bobby, you start.
All right, I'm going to try to be quick, and I'm going to try to reframe this and just make it in the simplest terms possible. The reason why they brought this on, and I wish that from day one that we would have had this, because I believe my downline would probably be triple what it is. But the main reason why the company needed this is because agents were bringing people on all over the place, signing them up, and then they were alone. They were just orphans, and they didn't have teams, they didn't have structure, they didn't have people to join. So for the company, that's a waste of time. You're onboarding, offboarding people, so that's not good for the company and for the bottom line. For the agents that were coming on, they were leaving. So obviously, what do you think they say when they leave EXP? They say EXP sucks. I went there and it sucked. So what this does is it makes a better structure for us. And again, you don't have to use it, but I'll give you an example. Randy and I are working on 2 people. They want, a structure. They want teams. It doesn't necessarily have to be leads necessarily, although we do provide some leads. But when anyone co-sponsors someone with me, for me, I care about production. I look at this as a team leader as the best thing on the planet, because I want to have the whole company. I want everybody thinking that, hey, I got somebody in Carmel Valley that I can plug into Bobby Martin's, and now my friend will have a production partner, because that's what you get when you get me. You're getting somebody that's going to go on the listing appointment with you instead of just, walking around flailing on your own. You're going to have somebody that's going to help you close all of these people. And so that's a huge, huge thing. Think about all the great teams across the country. So if you can pair up great people with other great people, that person's going to succeed, and then you still get paid because you have them in your downline. You're getting level 2 money, so it absolutely makes sense. For me, I don't care about the FLQAs anymore because they changed the icon. So all I have to do is worry about one thing: keep getting icon, and my entire 7 levels will remain open. And so I would love to co-sponsor anyone that is solid. I'm obviously have to interview people just like anybody else. I'm not going to waste my time on people that won't show up and do the work. But how can you fail if, for example, Randy and Brian bring on somebody. They bring me on as a co-sponsor to help them with production. I got Brian and Randy on there in one ear, giving them all the training and love and expertise that Brian's been doing for decades as a coach, and Randy's been doing as well. So how can that person fail if they are a go-getter? And so all we got to do is find go-getters, guys, and then plug them into the right systems, and then we will succeed better than any other company out there. This is in my opinion, the missing link that our company was missing. Because you had just too many people caring about one thing, getting someone to sign up, and then they forgot about them. This at least has somebody working with them in that local market, and that's what we have to be focused on. That's it.
Bobby,
Awesome.
doing the right thing is the right thing, right? You're helping
Yep.
the people, period. Thank you.
And just to make a comment before we go to Russ and Diane, David, I love that because I live my life like that. And the cool thing about this, when you really understand it, and again, watch the video from Russ that I posted in there, because Russ does the best job I've seen of explaining it so far. But the reality is, it's really, it's not about you and it's not about the co-sponsors, it's about the agent you're bringing in. Okay? And I'll tell you, I had someone say to me, who's co-sponsoring on, I have somebody co-sponsoring under me. One of my agents do a co-sponsor. I'm not going to make any money from that. I'm so excited for that person. So you have to be an abundant mindset, because I think that's the whole benefit of EXP. Most of us are abundant mindset, so it's get there. But let's go to Ross and Diane, because they're using this very, very strongly too. Go, guys.
So
wanna go?
I'll preface it, Diane, and then I'll let you talk about the function of it. But the spirit of this is what's most important to me. The two reasons why I joined EXP was to, one, make the world a little smaller, make every spot of the earth reachable, right? And two, it's one brokerage. You can spread out over the United States, across the world, without having to cap in multiple areas, without having to, it's the best way to operate on the planet. Those are the two reasons that it really came to EXP. And the spirit of the co-sponsorship, in my opinion, is to make the world a little smaller, or a lot smaller, and to enhance your ability to reach with your offering, Cam, your offering across the United States, because people are going to find value in that. So I don't think that I will do another sponsorship without a co-sponsor, because if I plant seeds all across the country with the biggest hitters in EXP, who's going to pay it forward to me when it's our turn? If this is relationship building, this isn't about making a couple bucks off of a singular agent. When the world of the brick and mortar mortgages falls, who's going to be there to catch them all? We are. And how can we do that? We have to have the network and the capacity and the partnerships and the offerings, because somebody might like AI, and you know what, dude, like, I know nothing. I suck. Like, I'm the worst at this stuff. Like Dave said, I'm good at, like, my circle is way smaller than Dave's. And then I suck at all this stuff. So I need people like you guys on this call, people that are big hitters, that have the influence, to come in alongside me and say, this is your home. And when they find out it's their home, not only is it like a great situation for me and the co-sponsor, it's the best situation for the agent, because there's no better platform to operate on in the real estate world than EXP. So if we're able to share that, and we're able to use the spirit of what this co-sponsorship is for, and really build relationships, bridge gaps, and find our own holes, and then fill them with like people who are better than us in certain areas, because there's always going to be someone that's better, right, in certain areas, then that's when it's being used properly. I'll kick it over to Diane, because she's the one who's boots on the ground. And, you know, we talked to a group of 70 agents yesterday. We're talking to another group of 50 agents today. Like, this is big fish catching. This isn't about, like, you know, Cam, if somebody wants to come in that's like in your hometown and wants to be an agent on your team, like, you don't need a co-sponsor. Like, go sign up. Here's the join app. You don't need me. Do this, you know, send them your SOPs. They sign up. And then next thing you know, they're live on your platform. This is for when the brick and mortar world crumbles, how can we pick up everyone in one fell swoop to grow this company? Because we're the only company, the cloud brokerage, that has the capacity to do it. And I just want to say, I put in the chat with the host and panelists that this makes Reels co-sponsorship look like a kindergarten project. Like, I could have thought up of Reels co-sponsors and, well, there's two things and you split it. It is boneheaded, and the big dog always wins in that model. The co-sponsor in that model will always win because they have the offerings. Well, and I don't even care if it's leads. What if it's technology? What if it's knowledge of AI? The little guy will always lose in that model because everyone's going to gravitate towards that, and it's going to kick that person out. And then the big dog always takes the full amount of the rev share. So those are my thoughts on it. It's a beautiful model. If you can understand it, everyone, it is a great tool to use and employ. And all it does is really build into what EXP is all about, and that's exponential growth. So Diana, tell them what we're doing.
Well, I personally think the co-sponsor platform is genius. I am so excited about it. It's re-energized me. I mean, I'm super excited about EXP, like I live and breathe it. But I got to tell you, when it first was introduced, I was a little bit hesitant about it. I wasn't sure because I went to the 50-50 model. I'm like, oh, geez, this is not going to be good. But when I really looked at it, I'm like, oh, this is brilliant. This is a way not only to expand our growth, all of us, right? And to scale and do it at a better, faster pace. It brings more value to the agent. It brings more value to the teams we're bringing on. This brings more value. And if you look at it like that, it's a win-win-win for everybody. And I'm with Ross, and I told Ross and Matt, I go, we are going to have a co-sponsor with every single person, team we bring on, because we're going to be able to offer them more value. That's how I see it. I don't really see any scenario where I don't want to align with somebody, because I can say, hey, I've been able to resurrect conversations with people that I talked to 2 years ago that I wasn't able to convince for different reasons to come over. And I know there's deficits in their business. I know timing is good right now. So I reached back out. I said, listen, we're so innovative. We're so in front of everything. We have an opportunity to bring you more value, exponential more value with co-sponsorship, enabling me to align with other talent in the EXP ecosystem that has assets that we can combine our talents and, assets and tools together to make you that much more powerful when you go out there and are selling and recruiting and whatever your goals are. And it is genius. And we are now getting meetings with people that they're interested. They're like, wow, this is cool. And by the way, I don't think it has to be geography driven. I think you have to do it on a case by case, because in the instance of someone we're talking to next week, or I'm aligning them with someone that's not in our market, in fact, not even in our country. But this person is brilliant, and this person is a leader in the space of what they're doing, and it resonates with the team that we're talking to. I know what their hot buttons are, and I'm like, who is the best person in EXP that can come to the table and give them what they need there? It's not us. So I reached out to that person. I said, I've got someone. They're like all day long. Everybody wants to do this. And also, as Ross said, this is an opportunity to foster relationships with people all over the ecosystem of EXP that will then in kind, hopefully down the road, be able to return the favor. This is a relationship opportunity. I think it's an opportunity to give so much more value to everyone we're talking to. I'm a huge, huge fan of it. I think it is going to help all of us. And I think anybody within our group that is not in our immediate up or down line, we should talk. We should talk, because there's opportunity. And whether it's, I don't have to be, I know that it's, I can't do it with Mitch. I'd love to do it with Mitch, but I'm in his downline. I can't do it with Dennis. I can do it with Cam. I can do it with David. I can do it with Bobby Martins. I can do it with Randy Zimnock. I can do it with Bridget. I can do it with Mr. Lurch. I can do it with Karina.
OMG, that just exploded the opportunities we have, all of us. That's my thought.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's great.
I'm a cheerleader.
So
I got a question.
love
I
it.
have a
little
question.
bit-
Hold on.
we have a few more minutes left. Hold on,
Okay.
Tim. I want to get to everybody. We have
Okay.
go ahead, real quick. 'Cause I got other people want to speak. Craig, do you want to add anything?
Yeah, first of all, I think it's a great idea because I know in Philadelphia, one of the fears that I had and that I faced when I came in is being an orphan. And I get tons and tons and tons of calls from people looking for help. And it took me a lot of time to start to say no because it was taking time that I had no bearings on. So now I've gone to people in the area and I've said to them, look, I want to build a relationship with like you as much as me. I have 2 offices in Philly. Okay. You have access to them if you're in here and if you're my co-sponsors and stuff now. Where before, if you're having somebody come from outside and you want to use my office, there's no benefit to me. And I'm not having people that aren't there because there's no win. It now makes a win-win for everybody. It's living in abundance. And I love it because now I can do business and be tied to some of you that aren't in my direct line. Example, Pete Middleton, I know I can refer with luxury. I know that Jay Kinder, I'm doing stuff with funnels. I know that somebody else, I'm doing something with some. The point is there's different people to align with. Figure out the strengths of what's the best for the other agent coming in and help them. It doesn't need to be decided right away. It needs to be decided within 5 days of coming in of EXP. That's the key. As long as it's on by the 5th day. But find out exactly what they want to do and then go hunting. You go out into our company and help them find them who's the best for that animal or who's the best in their area. That's all I wanted to say. Live in abundance with it. Don't live with it in the snow globe. Yes, we all have these little things. It's change. Change takes place, but this is to help the whole. This is to help people that want help, but we couldn't give it to them before.
And Dennis, go ahead, Diane, real quick.
Oh.
What was that, Diane, who said that, or Bridget? Bridget,
Oh, it
I'm
was
sorry.
Bridget. I just wanted to say if anyone has anyone interested in commercial, I have developed my own course and we'll do coaching. So if you have an agent that wants to, and I've navigated the commercial realm at EXP really well, doing deals out of state. I have great relationships. So if that's a key, then you're welcome to collaborate with me and we'll work on, really training them in commercial and teaching them the language and stuff. Sorry, I cut in line, Dennis.
There you go. Dennis, go ahead, Dennis.
That's okay.
So,
I think we covered it pretty good. Mitch, I think we need to clarify about how the downlines work. Like, for instance, Diane can't refer anybody to me like she said, but she can do it with anybody else that's not directly related to her. So I think there's some confusion on that.
Okay, yeah, I'll clarify. Is that all you got? Because I was going to finish it up if that's what you got.
I got one more thing to say. So a couple
Okay.
of us have offices. Diane, you have an office. I have an office. Dave Lawson has an office. I'm going to approach like Dan Beer, Kyle Whistle, those guys, because they have people in La Jolla. Sometimes a lot of people want an office to go to. So I'll be like, let me be the sponsor, you be the co-sponsor, and they can use my office. Go for it. Some of us can have that kind of option as well. So.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm going to go through real quick. I want to answer the question there, Dennis, on the organization. It's really simple. So if there's still only 7 levels of people, that's the reason why you can pay this, right? And the only difference is the sponsor is still going to have their upline gets paid like normal. Nothing changes at the sponsor. The only thing is if you're the sponsor, you do not get the $4,000 bonus that you get on the first year. Because that person is literally on your second line in your organization. And you're going to get 6 levels of revenue from that if they bring on people. If you're the co-sponsor, you get the $4,000 bonus, you get the stock. It's a big benefit to be the co-sponsor, by the way. And if they build something, you get all 7 levels because they're on your first level. I mean, that's the levels. It's pretty simple. I'm going to run through just a few things that I've been doing. And I encourage all you guys to do this because I think it's amazing. I think co-sponsoring is the best thing that EXP's done since I've joined EXP 8 years ago. And so a couple of things. One, I partnered with a commercial group here locally. All right, so Bridget, this is something to think about on your end. I partnered because they've always wanted to build out a residential section, but they didn't have a residential person to be the front guy. So they've turned down a lot of residential people who wanted to join them because they couldn't help them. Now we just plug them into our local system here, and they've got help, they've got support. I have support staff here, I got offices, so that's the one. Next thing I did is we have 2 main groups here in my area. I went to one of my favorite people in the other group, and I said to her, look, now we can work together. She goes, well, I stopped doing any attraction because I didn't get any support from my upline. So I didn't have anything to offer them. She goes, now I'm gonna work with her when she brings somebody on, and we're actually gonna go back and forth because she has a decent sized organization, but we're gonna go back and forth offering FLQAs to each one of us. But now she can offer my services. She offers my coaching, she offers my office space, my support system. The other one we partner with people who have a lead system. So I don't do leads. I'm like a lot of you guys. I don't do leads. No desire to do leads. I don't want to run a team or any of that stuff. So now if somebody wants to do that, I partner with a lead team. Very strong. So, and that's, by the way, I'd say 50% of the people that I interview, the first thing they say out of their mouths, are you going to give me leads? Now I can. And then finally, I partnered with Phil Stringer, which, by the way, any of you guys can do. Phil is offering this $13,000 package to anybody you attract that makes him as a co-sponsor. So my point is, this is an entrepreneur's dream. I'm an entrepreneur. I love business. I love coming up with new stuff and creative stuff. And this is like, you're only limited by your brain. And so I want you to think way more. This is kind of a message to you, Cam, in this conversation. Think way more than your little bubble that you live in. Because if you get creative with this, and I'll get on a call with you, Cam, and have a conversation on ways to exploit this for it to be benefit to you. Because
we did that, Jamal. Remember? We did that.
What's that?
We did that once. Remember, you said that you were going to explain it to me, and then you had a call, and you were going to call me back. But
it happens. But then because Mitch, you forgot to call me. I mean, I'm pretty ADDDDD if you don't know who I am, right? But anyways, we'll get on a call and I fix it. But the point is you've got to expand your thinking and all this stuff, because this is the best opportunity I've seen from a growth perspective, and most importantly, a retention perspective. The hardest part of every brokerage is retaining agents. Agents leave any brokerage because they feel like they're alone. We've interviewed. I just did an email to people who left my organization. I got a bunch of responses. Why did you leave EXP? I felt like I was alone. Right? So this helps you have more than just yourself, keeping them not alone. And Kim, let's get on a call tomorrow. Okay, I'm booked solid today with them. Seriously.
You know I'm always here.
Yeah.
I feel like my biggest challenge when I talk about this is I just don't fully understand it, and there hasn't been a talk like today, right? We haven't done a panel that really made it so that like everyone fully understands it. So you can't, if you don't understand stuff, you can't be on board with it. And I just feel like I got to disconnect with how it works, because like Randy was saying, it's genius if you can understand it. So that's the questions I have. They're not like, I don't think it's great. I think it's awesome. I mean, heck, anytime that you build stuff out that's going to benefit agents, that's our goal. That's what the brokerage is for. I just need to understand it so I can utilize it. Like, heck, that's what I got to do.
Kim, I get plenty of time to watch this. Today's a crazy day.
Russ Lagan's thing, the video.
Yeah.
Have you watched Russ's video?
Yeah, it's in the chat. If you haven't copy and pasted that chat, because I'm going to shut this up in like 3 seconds. Copy and paste that and
watch it.
Yeah, and watch that, because Russ does the best job I've seen. That's why I was trying to show it first, of explaining this. And Kim, again, glad to hop on a call with you, or anybody in this. Anybody wants to hop on a call and understand this. And the beauty of this, by the way, and I'll finish up with this, I can't co-sponsor with any of you guys, which kind of sucks, because you're all in my organization. But most of you guys are not in a lot of you guys are not in each other's organizations. Like Craig's not in Karina's organization, or Dave Lawson's organization, or Kim's organization. There's all sorts of intermatching we can all do within the tribe, because we have multiple organizations within the tribe. Great conversation, guys. This is it's a powerful tool. I hope everybody goes to use it. If anybody has any questions about it, please reach out to me. I'm glad to help anybody. Okay, and I'll talk to you all in a little bit. Take care. Have a good weekend.
Thanks, Ben.
Bye, guys. Thank you.